emerge. It's a little complex too. To see it, we'll first look at a dry skull in which the zygomatic arch has been removed. Here's the area we'll be looking at. Here's the underside of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. Here's the lateral pterygoid plate. Here's the back of the maxilla. This gap between the pterygoid process and the maxilla is the pterygomaxillary fissure. It's continuous with this gap between the maxilla and the greater wing of the sphenoid, the inferior orbital fissure. Here's the inferior orbital fissure seen from in front. The maxillary nerve emerges here, deep in the pterygomaxillary fissure. The mandibular nerve emerges here, behind the lateral pterygoid plate. To get to this remote area in a dissected specimen, we have to remove several major structures. First, the masseter muscle, then the deep temporal fascia, then the zygomatic arch, and then the temporalis muscle, and the ramus and coronoid process of the mandible, and finally this muscle, the lateral pterygoid, together with the condyle of the mandible. This brings us into the infratemporal fossa. Before we look at the nerves, let's get oriented. Here's the underside of the greater wing of the sphenoid. Here's the lateral pterygoid plate, the back of the maxilla, the pterygomaxillary fissure, and the superior orbital fissure. This is the medial pterygoid muscle. It slopes downwards and outwards towards its insertion on the medial aspect of the mandible. This muscle is the buccinator.